All right, guys, we are live again. This is another daytime episode of Brain Rot. Okay, because I've been thinking about some things, and today we're going to talk about consumption. Now, consumption is a very multifaceted topic, right? But we're going to talk about consumption of food in particular, right? Or things that you ingest to basically enhance your daily life, right? Which that is what food is. Okay, let's not get that wrong. I was watching this very interesting video that Connor Murphy put out. And for those of you who don't know Connor Murphy, he used to be this fitness icon before he went completely off the rails and started drinking his own piss. Now, I do understand the things he was talking about, just because it's not new what he's talking about. All this piss, magic, seance shit. And it's not that I don't completely believe in any of this, but the important thing to understand is he brought up this very important question, which is it's not really natty or not. It actually is a spectrum. Now he goes around doing these shit interviews, asking people, and he even asked Greg Doucette. I'm a big fan of Greg Doucette myself. I do love Coach Greg. And he asked him, is nadia not a spectrum? Because technically, if you take vitamin D3, which is the most bioavailable form of vitamin D, D2 is available in plants and D3 is available in animals. That's why we get D3 from animals. And that's why it's the most bioavailable to us, right? D3, even though it is a vitamin, it is also acting like a hormone. Now, for those of you who didn't know this, D3, obviously, we know you can get it. You can help your body produce it by getting sunlight. Now, here is where the true argument comes in. If vitamin D3, you get it from the sun, you get sunlight, and that helps your body produce vitamin D3. That in turn acts like a hormone. Are you essentially enhancing yourself? Now, I know that sounds stupid, but you got to think of this from a logical standpoint. Are you not enhancing yourself? Do you have to take the supplement of vitamin D3 if you don't get sunlight? Is that considered enhancement? Now, coming back to the natty or not spectrum, right? On one end, you do absolutely nothing to enhance your life. So you're basically a bum, right? And on the other end, you're juiced out of your fucking tits. But there is a healthy middle ground to which you can be as not natty as you can without taking direct hormone changing drugs, right? So, okay, trailing off once again. The brain rot has begun. Coming back to consumption. Now, I think, obviously, that the natty or not spectrum ends where you start taking androgynous hormones. But it is very, very important to understand that anything and everything you consume, including the oxygen you breathe into your lungs, will and absolutely affect your performance, your mood, your strength, your thoughts. It will affect everything about you. The main mistake people make is they think there's very few factors affecting their life, but that's absolutely and utterly wrong. Everything you do influences your life. This room I sit in influences my life. I spend so much time in this room that if it was filled with garbage, I would end up a garbage human being within no less than 2 weeks, right? Now, I'm sure a lot of you do have good environments and good surroundings, at least those of you who have taken the effort to do so. But it doesn't end there. We all know it's not just the environment and not just the people you talk to. The content you consume, the food you eat, where you sit, where you sleep, how you conduct yourself, how you groom yourself, how you keep your own mood in check. All of this matters all of the time. So you have to set up certain systems in place to ensure that you're always hitting these check boxes, right? Like a very basic example I can give is, there's not a single day I've started without a shower, right? It doesn't matter if I have to go to the gym. I usually, when I was younger, I used to always wait to go to the gym and then only shower. But Now a day cannot start without a shower, just cause. Showers are a beautiful way of resetting your brain. Hot water recreates the feeling of warmth, and your body doesn't necessarily know the difference between human touch and a comforting warmth. So when hot water hits your body, it produces a lot of oxytocin and serotonin. And it essentially allows you to reset your brain, because you will never be able to reset your brain if you're in complete peril and stress. And neither will you be able to reset your brain if you're completely happy. It's always, as weird as this sounds, it's always easier to operate in the extremes. It's always easier. Think of life as a bell curve, right? Everyone knows the bell curve. It goes up, slopes up, comes back down, and then tapers off towards the ends. Operating in the extremes, in this case, I'm just using this as an analogy. Operating in the extremes is easy because it's easy to do nothing and it's easy to overdo one thing or something. The hard part is balance, right? It's easy to be a master of one thing. It's really not that hard. All you got to do is just dedicate enough time and effort to it. What do they say? 10,000 hours? But that's just one thing at the end of the day. And no matter what anyone tells you, I remember reading this. Robin, what is his name? Robin Sharma? Let me just look this up real quick. I'm pretty sure it's Robin Sharma. The 5 a.m. Club. Robin Sharma? Yep, Robin Sharma. So I remember this one quote from the book. It wasn't the 5 a.m. Club. I think it was a small PDF that he released. I think it was 48, no, not 48, some X amount of rules to life. And he says this. He says the key to success is not dipping your foot into everything, but rather, it's monomaniacally focusing on one thing at a time, getting that done, and then moving on to the next thing. And what he means by that is you don't just monomaniacally focus on one thing and then just say, oh, I'm a master of this. There we go. Okay, you're a master of this, and what's next? You can't stop there. Cool, you know one language. Where's the second? It's just how it is. Okay, coming back to consumption. So it's very important to take into account what you're consuming. Let's quickly talk about, I don't want to get into nutrition completely just yet, just because I've started this episode and I've, diverted into quite a few tangents. But I will tell you my basic supplement stack, right? So apart from my diet, there's very few things I take. I have tried damn near every natural supplement on earth. And I'm not lying or joking when I say this. I was jobless during the quarantine and I had too much time on my hands. So all I did was experiment. I've experimented, tried out every split, every diet. Of course, every diet except for meat, because I don't eat meat. Every supplement that's natural. And now what I've come to is there are a lot of supplements out there that could be benefiting and impacting your life, but it's such a minute degree, at least at the moment. Maybe one day when you have tons of money and you have nothing better to do with your life, you can just keep popping all these supplements. Sure, all those will compound up and maybe give you a 2% benefit to your life. But the basics are magnesium, okay? Magnesium is really important, and this is because magnesium is used in 300 different chemical processes in your body, right? And our food is super, super deficient in magnesium, not simply because of the fact that we don't eat enough magnesium-rich foods. It's because of the fact that the soil doesn't have nearly enough magnesium or mineral levels as it used to, particularly in the places where industrial farming has occurred. Now, I'm not saying industrial farming or industrial meat production is a bad thing by any means. I will talk about that later, probably at the end of this episode. I have some thoughts on it. But coming back, magnesium is extremely important, okay? Usually nowadays, you would have to eat probably 3 to 4 times the amount of fruits or vegetables you would have to have eaten back in the 1950s just to get the same amount of nutrients. bit sad, but now this is not the case everywhere. Just in the places where the soil has been over irrigated and over farmed and the land has just been completely depleted and dried, right? What else? Okay, omega 3s. Now people get omega 3s and omega 6s confused a lot. I hope I'm not getting this wrong. Omega 6s, almost everyone gets. It's available in most fats, and omega 3s are the important ones, and they're very important for your heart and eye health. And unless you do have a diet rich in fish, and unless you're a diabetic Bengali fish eating fuck like Shagnik, it's probably best you supplement with omega 3s, some fish oil. Or if you're completely vegan, I do have some alternatives for you. We have algae oil. Algae oil also is pretty rich in omega 3s. There's some good companies for it. I think Sun Warrior has a good algae oil. I did try it. I personally am not a big fan of algae oil just because it gives this really seaweedy taste after, and I'm not a big fan of seaweed at all. I do not like seaweed. I actually hate it. It's disgusting. I don't know how you lot eat it. Okay. We've covered magnesium, we've covered omega 3s. I would also really like to quickly touch upon BCAAs just because people chat so much shit about it. You guys are focusing on the wrong things, man. The only people who actually consume BCAAs who know what they're doing are the people who don't talk about it, are the people who just do their own thing. If I ever see people saying, bro, I drink BCAA, shut up. Let's get this clear, okay? Let me break this down real quick. This should actually have been on the break-even analysis, but I guess this will come into brain rot for now. There are 9 amino acids, okay, in the body that we need. Wait, I'm sorry. Let me just pull up Google after fact check this. I don't want to be wrong. Okay, yeah. There's 9 amino acids, right? And these are the essential amino acids. The names are not that relevant of the 9 essential amino acids, but there are 3 that are very important, right? The 3 that are important because the gym community talks about them so much. And now these 3 are very helpful, don't get me wrong, right? But they, as much as they do aid in muscle growth, now the 3 amino acids I'm talking about are leucine, isoleucine, and valine, okay? As much as they do aid in muscle growth, your body cannot synthesize protein unless it has all 9 essential amino acids. Do you guys understand that? So if you just keep drinking BCAAs throughout the day, which is isoleucine, leucine, and valine, you're not really getting enough of the other 6 essential amino acids, histidine and all the other, 5 other amino acids that you would need to actually synthesize protein. So if you were to get BCAAs, or if your sole purpose is to just, ensure that you're synthesizing protein throughout the day, although it does cause an insulin spike every time you do consume it, your best bet is go for EAAs, go for all 9 essential amino acids. Gorilla Mind has a beautiful concoction of the essential amino acids. I have it somewhere here, but I'll show it to you guys later. I'll post a picture of it. So yeah, that just makes so much more sense. I don't see why you would, go for BCAAs when you have EAAs. They're the same fucking price. So coming back, supplements. I do also take a really good multivitamin. I like Thorn multivitamin, the 2 a day. I think it's pretty basic, pretty good. I do also obviously take ashwagandha. And now a lot of people love using the word ashwagandha and just throwing it out there as if they understand how it works. Good, take it. I'm not saying don't. But don't chat shit about it if you don't know how it works. People are like, take this, bro, it's going to increase your testosterone. Relax. What ashwagandha essentially does, is it helps reduce your cortisol levels in the body. That's it. That's one of your main primary things that it does. Now, as a result of your cortisol levels being decreased, testosterone and cortisol levels, if I'm not wrong, to a certain level, have an inverse relationship. So the lower your cortisol levels, the calmer you are. essentially the better your ability to produce testosterone, right? Now, there are obviously times where a spike in cortisol increases your testosterone, where you're put in a fight or flight situation, you're stressed out, you need to get something done. Let's say you're sparring, let's say you're in a a super tense situation, right? Then your blood is pumping. Everyone knows that feeling, right? The adrenaline. So that, oh, once again, trailed off. What the fuck? Yes, ashwagandha. So that's why it's pretty good. Now, I don't want to go into too much more, but I want to talk about one last thing, which is dosing. You guys have to remember that all of the recommended dosage values you see are for your average individual, and they're for people who don't know what they're doing. You can debate me on this. I don't care. The multivitamin I take, the 2 a day, you're supposed to take 2 pills a day. I take 4 to 5 a day. Ashwagandha, they say the recommended amount is 400 to 600 milligrams. I take about 1,000 to 1,500. Caffeine, the recommended amount is 400 milligrams for your average human adult. I take about 8 to 900. Now, this is not me bragging. This is me trying to tell you guys that if you understand your body well enough to know what you're doing, you can absolutely slowly push the limits to see where your body allows you to go without breaking yourself. Now, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. If you know this, and if you think about it, this is what you do in the gym. You push yourself to a point where your muscle tears down, such that you have to actually fortify your muscles, build it back up, come back stronger the next day. Now, I don't want you guys to confuse this with overdosing. Please do not do this. Do not do anything without prior research, prior knowledge, and do not take my word as gospel, I beg of you. I'm not a medical professional. But there's a very big difference between overdosing and megadosing. The only reason I take these quantities is because I do so much in my day that these quantities is what it takes for me to be normal. So it's the same thing. It's like you don't need more than 0.8 to a gram of per pound of body of protein per pound of body weight, but there's no harm if you eat 300 grams of protein a day. Now, I'm not saying you should do that with everything, but you can do that with certain things and get away with it. You won't be punished for it. Such as magnesium from time to time. Caffeine from time to time, you have to be very careful. I do not recommend it. And I get so shocked when I see people saying Prime has 200 milligrams of caffeine. Yeah, so do like 2.5 cups of coffee. And it's very normal. Stop blowing it out of proportion. One dumbass has a heart attack after double scooping and dry scooping pre-workout, and everyone makes such a big fucking deal out of it. You all are grown-ass adults. And even if you're not, you have all of the knowledge on your fingertips. You can't be making such mistakes. It's really unprofessional. Plus, it gives a bad rep to the drug, and that fucks it up for everyone. Maybe not immediately, but sooner or later, they're going to start mandating caffeine. That's what they've done in Canada. Bro, what? All right, I think this is a good enough episode for Brain Rot. It's been a lovely episode, guys. I will come back to you with more. Until then, I will see you lot.